Okay, so I'm going to go over the whole number times a fraction checkpoint. Going to be thinking out loud, going to be thinking about the math that I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and kind of go from there. So I have 7 times 1/3. Well, if I know my unit fractions, I can add it. I can add this unit fraction 7 times together, and that'll give me an answer. I could chunk the number if I could think of, because like if this was 6, like 6, 1/3 of 6, I could do that pretty easily. I know that's 2. So I could change this to 6 plus 1. Oh, because like I know 1/3 of 1 is 1/3. That would be cool too. So I think I'm going to do that. I think that's easier than, so I know that 7 equals 6 plus 1. So I can take that knowledge and say 1/3 of 6. Because it's multiplication, I can do it either way. I can flip it if I want to. I can flip it. 1/3 of 6 plus 1/3 of 1. 1/3 of 6 is 2. 1/3 of 1 is 1/3. And that gives me 2 1/3. So that's one way I could do it. Another way we could do 2 1/3, that would also be if you added this 7 times, then you would have 7/3. So 7/3, 7/3, 2 and 1/3, 7/3, those would both be acceptable. To get full credit, you need to have explained your answer. All right, 7 times 2/3. Well, I could go through this whole process again, or I could just double. Look, I know 2/3 is double 1/3. So my answer is just going to be double. Cool. So I know 1/3 of 7 is 2 and 1/3. 2/3 is double 1/3. My answer, is doubled. Will double. 2, 4, and 2/3. That was fun. So if you did another strategy like adding them all together, then you would have gotten something like 14/3. All right, solve each of these story problems. Show your work using words, numbers, or labeled sketches. So Danielle ran the first 1/5 of a 6-mile race. Ooh, that got me thinking. Did you? Okay. So now that I split, I love the chunking one. I just can't get over that one because it just makes things easier. You start thinking about things. How many miles did she run? So if I knew, okay, so 6 equals 5 plus 1. Right? 5, yeah. So I can say 1/5 of 5, or times 5, sorry, plus 1/5 of 1. That gives me 1/5 of 5 is 1. 1/5 of 1 is 1/5. So my total is 1 and 1/5. So Danielle ran 1 and 1/5 of a mile. If you did that in decimals, 1/5, you would need to explain where you got the decimal from. So because there's 25s in 100, and looking at one of those, that would be 0.20. So you could say 1.20 miles. So she ran 1 and 1/5 of a mile. Danielle jogged 3/5 of the 6-mile race. How many miles did she jog? Well, again, I could go back to what I did up here. It's triple now. Okay. So I know. So 3/5 is the same as 3 times 1/5. I already found 1/5 up here. So if 1/5 equals 1 and 1/5, then, wait, where am I? 1/5 equals 1 and 1/5, then 3/5 equals 3 times 1 and 1/5. That gives me 3 and 3/5. So I'm just tripling it. Okay. Write and solve a story problem to match the expression 12 times 3/8. See, I'm curious if I had to do, whatever. So, okay, so yeah. I was trying to think if I needed to keep it in order. Because like this for me, 3/5 of 6 miles, that's 3/5 times 6. So I was just going to rob that one and say Danielle jogged 3/8 of the 12-mile race. But I think we need to keep it in order. So I'm going to say Jerry had 12 ounces of frosting each. Yeah, but see, I don't know if I'm gonna have a whole number. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna say there was a 12-mile race. And George, ran 3/8 of the race. How far did George run? So we would do 3/8 of 12. Can I do like this 12/8 times 3? That's not gonna make my life easier. 1/8 of 12. I don't see anything easy there. Can I break this down? So 8 and 4. 3/8 of 8 would be 3/8 of 4. That doesn't seem that easy. What if I did 8? I do like 8 because it's there, but that would just be 4. Well, I guess this one I might just know. I know that I can multiply, so I can change this to, so 12 times 3/8 equals 12 times 3/8. And I know that's 36/8. That wouldn't be a good solution because I don't know what 36/8 of a mile is. Like you would have to break that down for somebody. So I want to take out some whole numbers. So 8/8 is a whole. So how many 8/8s do I have there? I have what, 4? Right? So I have 4 8/8s, and that leaves me with another 4/8 left. So 4/8 miles, or I could say 4.5 miles. All right, so that's this one. Bye.